IT difficulties at the. Sorry.
Lost you. Go ahead.
There's a few IT difficulties at the state level right now and this morning. So we're going to do our best to try and get through this meeting. But just to get it started, if everybody can hear me, we will call the February 21st, 2023 State Board of Landscape Architects meeting to order at 9:36 a.m. So just to start, this meeting's a little bit different than some of our last meetings in the fact that I don't think that we have all the information that we were accustomed to having before a meeting. So I think we're at, unless you guys got something that I didn't get, as far as a board packet with applicants and things like that, that we can review beforehand. But understanding the state is going through a little bit of change in staff and management and stuff like that. So I think we have to be just a little bit flexible for the time being. But we do have at least one applicant that you just heard speak, Mary, that I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to push this back to Jason at the state to say, if we don't have the application materials, we can't really review or act on any of them. So how do you want to proceed with that?
You're asking me? Yeah, I just checked again. Unfortunately, the system is still not accessible.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, usually what we do is we run through the applicants that, we give them the eyeball check on, do they meet the qualifications that we feel to grant licensure. It seems like Mary's does, but until we actually see it, I don't think we can even act on any of the candidates or applications. It's unfortunate, but I think it's kind of out of our hands at the moment. So if we could just jump to the agenda, review of the meeting minutes of November 15th, 2022. We did get those. And does Phil or Dom have any comments on those?
Comment.
Phil, you have one?
I do not.
Okay.
No.
I think I read through them. I don't think I have any comments either.
I did not. My only comment was regarding the agenda for this meeting, which was that we do have an active professional vacancy on our board. It wasn't listed, so a little different. But I think as far as November 15th, 2022 board meeting minutes, we are good to approve. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. Item 2, comments and concerns of any person present today. We did hear from Mary, and I just do not think we can act on her application at the moment. Item 3, stay on that one. I think if there's a way.
Do we have anybody else in the audience? Because I don't know. We can't see active members, I don't believe, on our screen. Do we have any?
Is there anybody else?
Oh, Mary's the only one here.
Okay, so my only request is, rather than to make Mary, I don't know what the logistics are, because our next meeting isn't for a couple months.
I mean, you could make some sort of motion that, if such and such is the case, then whatever.
Do you want to talk to her? I mean, if she meets the three criteria.
Yeah. Can you turn her back on?
Sure.
Hey, Mary.
Hi there.
We're going to do our best to sort of work outside the box on this one, because we are not able to see your CLARB record. You said you did submit one. Can you do us a favor, and maybe we can work through this? Can you give us sort of a background on your education? You had said you passed all 4 sections of the exam. And then can you give us a background on your experience? So we're really looking, if we can cover this verbally, we may be able to make a motion on your application. So if you could just sort of hit the the education and the experience section, assuming that you did pass the exam, which you said you did. That would be great for us.
Absolutely. My undergrad is in environmental studies from the University of Vermont, and my master's education was from the Rhode Island School of Design. I have a master's of landscape architecture. My work experience, I spent a little bit less than 2 years working for a licensed landscape architect in New Hampshire, and I've spent the past 2.5 years for a licensed architect in Connecticut as a landscape designer. And I saw that in the Connecticut regulations that time with a licensed architect can count toward licensure.
Can I ask where or who the landscape architect was in New Hampshire that you worked under?
His name was Christopher Kessler,
Chris.
Christopher G. Kessler. And
And who-
he, in my CLARB record, he has verified my employment, which I realize you can't currently see my CLARB
Right.
record.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Who do you currently work for? Which architect?
Mark Finley in
Okay.
South Connecticut.
Not that it's part of the application. You live in Connecticut?
Yes.
See, Dom, I asked that question before you asked that question.
My next question was, when did you sit for the exam?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
When did you sit for the exam?
I took my exams in April, August, and December of this year. I doubled up in August. I took sections 2 and 3.
Bill, any questions?
No.
I'd like to make a motion.
Go.
I'd like to make a motion that pending review by our DCP, obviously liaison, that she has successfully passed the CLARB, the licensure exam, and based on the information that she provided today, that she be accepted as she was granted licensure in the state of Connecticut under the alternative format.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I think barring any changes in review, Mary, congratulations. And I think you will be hearing back from Department of Consumer Protections with a successful licensure.
Oh
And
my goodness.
Mary,
Thank you.
I'd just like to thank you for coming and actually going through the process in the correct format, and also showing up to our meeting. So if we had your record, there weren't any concerns, because you were here to answer questions, which is very refreshing to find. Thank you.
Well, of course. Thank you so much for hearing me. I appreciate the time that you took to answer. I'm just thrilled that I will get to call myself a licensed landscape architect now.
And you can. And it's really
Welcome.
lucky that you did show up today, because we wouldn't have been able to act on it. So thank you for showing up.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really look forward to hearing back from you. Good luck with the
Great.
rest of the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 3, DCP Investigation Division.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Janita Hamill from the Investigations Division, Occupational Professional Enforcement Unit. For the 2-month time frame from November 1st of 2022 to December 31st of 2022, we did not receive any complaints against landscape architects, and we did not close any complaints against landscape architects. In other words, we didn't get any new complaints, and if there was any that we had that we were investigating, they would still be open and under investigation. Had there been a closed file, as I explained at your last meeting, then it would be on a spreadsheet that you would have available to you as part of your packet. And it would indicate who the licensee or unlicensed person was, what the issue and nature was, and how the investigator closed the file. So we have not had any activity in the past 2 months.
Thank you for the update. Dom or Phil have any questions?
None.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I might,
Sure.
we also have here from DCP, John Mesner. He is the state program manager for occupational professional licensing. He can explain, but he's taking over some of the roles that were held by former Board Administrative Director Richard Hurlbert, who retired a year ago. So I'll let Mr. Mesner kind of introduce himself to you.
Great.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I was going to wait till the end to pop on, so thank you, Janita, for the introduction. But yeah, I was just popping in this morning to say good morning, introduce myself, and yeah, like Ms. Hamill had already mentioned, I'm taking over some of the delegations that Mr. Hobart had previously, but not all of them. So that's where I'm at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like we got a lot of new people jumping around, coming in, and I think it's going to take a little bit to figure it out. Thankfully, I don't think we have too many issues or have had too many issues in the past, but you're welcome to jump on to any of our meetings as needed. And if anything comes up, feel free to reach out.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And just a little background on myself. I was previously with the agency. I actually worked for Ms. Hamill as an investigator. And I left the agency for about 2 years, went to another state agency, and then came back in this role. So even though there has been some new faces and some changes coming in, I am familiar with DCP and most of the policies and procedures. So, but like I said, if you guys need me, feel free to reach out if there's any questions.
So can you share which responsibilities you've taken over?
So right now, the main focus is on the occupational side. Main focus is dealing with the plumbing and piping, fire protection, elevator, glaziers, looking at the application reviews for the respective applicants coming in for those, because there's an MOU on that, so it's handled a little bit differently. Working with our legislative liaison on licensing interpretations when required. So the role is going to morph. Mr. Hobart had a few licensing service specialists underneath him. Those roles did not come with this position. They went to the Director of Licensing Services. So, you know, that's kind of where the roles have kind of changed a little bit, where before he was actually looking at some of the applications. So like Barbara Sipp, for example, Barbara was under Richard previously. And now she works directly. Well, she retired. Now she has Jane Hardy with her, but she works directly for licensing services now. So as applications come in, all that information is input and handled by licensing services. Has nothing to do with this particular role. Myself, I work with Janita under the investigations division. So I'm in a separate division within the agency.
All right, thanks.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Okay. For old business, we do have some old business, and I can run through some of the old business. That 4A, we had our continuing discussions with UConn, which I said I would jump on, which I did not jump on yet. Item 4B, and this is interesting for Mr. Mesner just to hear. I don't think he can do anything about, but our ongoing discussion regarding the restriction of landscape architecture practice by local and state agencies. We've been beating this one around for a while, and at the last meeting, we said we would take a shot and revise the Vince McDermott letter and just get a new date on it. I think that's something we can still do. Don't know what we're going to get out of it, but as far as old business, something that we can do. Again, I put that on my list of things to do. 4C is with regarding the live attendance requirement for CEUs. I think as we've been handling that one, just to continue allowing sort of the waiver on live attendance counting. So I think as far as this board goes, does everybody still feel or have a change in opinion on whether they have to be live, or we keep moving the way we've been moving and allowing for recorded?
Are we in a audit year or non-audit year right now in terms of the licensure? Do we know?
That's a good question.
Because I think I think at some point we have to bring it back in. I think it's good to have collaboration and coordination as part of the benchmark. I know I'm not saying do it now, but we should kind of keep an eye on that, because that will affect when they have to audit. So I'm just saying, in terms of if we're going to do it, you know, like we said, we wanted like a forewarning so we can say, hey, listen, it's going to be active as of 2024 or something, you know, so we can start the groundwork to people to can start getting ready. I don't think we don't tell them they don't have to do live attendance. They can do that now if they're at their purview. I mean, they can do it online at their purview now, but I just want to make sure that we kind of streamline it so when the audits do happen, that we can kind of make sure that you know, I think we should start working towards it at some point now. It is getting a little bit easier to get around and to do that. So I know other states have already started bringing the live attendance back. So, you know, I think we can look at it, and obviously it could be rescinded, but if, you know, my opinion would be, if we're going to do it, we do it like, okay, we're starting with year. It's got to be based on a renewal. I think it's going to make it life a lot easier. I'm hoping. I don't know if this is the audit year or if last year was the audit year.
Well, what I'm not getting the distinction of being an audit year, right?
Because
every year we have to do the.
Well,
we have
every
to
year,
get-
but
yeah.
okay. So you have to go through every year, and you have the option of being audited every year. So I'm saying, start it
Right.
on a yearly track to say, okay, well, like right now, you have to have your CEUs done by what, like May of the June. You have to have all CEUs in by May. So then when you renew in June/July, that's what they're going to check on. So I'm saying, does it make sense to say, okay, you know, starting in 2024, we're going to be looking at live, because that would mean anything in 2024, or do we do it by June of 2020? You know, I'm talking about, like, just trying to make it
Starting
easy.
to. All right, so yeah, I agree.
You get my gist. I might
100%.
be saying it wrong, you know.
I think I get your gist, and I agree with your gist. I do think we need to start the in-person again. I think for professional development especially, it's important. So I get what you're saying about having a milestone, so let's just talk about that. Wouldn't it be the renewal date? So anyway, you know, going with your thought, if licenses renew in 2023 June, then that's when the requirement for in-person CEUs would start.
But didn't we have something last year that said that the CEUs had to occur by like May?
Yeah,
previous?
all CEUs must be completed by April 30th in an even numbered year. So by April 30th of 2024. And so May 1st would actually start the next cycle. You could start taking courses for your next 2 years, even though you haven't renewed yet.
Right, okay, that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the Dom, that's what you were wanting to hear.
Yeah.
So thanks, Jason. So we had talked about resuming the requirement for 6 hours of live attendance. That's what we had talked about. I have no problem. I mean, I know Rhode Island's going through a little bit of an audit. I know I had to renew a couple licenses, and everybody's going back to it. I have no problem in this board saying, okay, starting with the whatever Jason just said, that restart, May 1 or whatever it is, that we go back to the 6 hours of live requirement.
Yeah, we've given them basically 2 or 3
Why not?
months to get their act together before they have to go live at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll make the motion that we resume the requirement for 6 hours of live attendance starting May. I believe it's May 1, 2023.
Well,
moving forward?
24 would start the new cycle. You still have another year because I think your CEUs are only due in the even numbered years. So you still have another year in this CEU cycle.
Right, but even though they're not due, couldn't we start it?
Oh, you could, but I just, it sounded like you wanted to go with the cycle.
I'm just trying to make it as easy as possible on the licensure candidates or the licensure people and also you guys, but I'm good with
Then we
putting it
could-
back in.
Yeah, why can't we just make it effective as of this meeting date that for
think
the
that's what we-
2024? Yeah, I mean,
I think that's what we're getting to. Yeah,
yeah.
Yep.
okay.
So Jason, we'll need a little help on the dates, but I think that this board feels that there's over a year, right? If we make that 6 hours a requirement, they have a year
To get 6 hours.
to get 6 hours of live. I think that's fair. So if I can amend my motion, it would be as the board as of this meeting, February 21st, 2023, is reinstating the 6 hours of live CEUs to be completed. Go ahead, Phil.
Oh, second,
Oh, thank you.
but you weren't done yet. Yeah,
Yeah, I was to be completed prior to this is the date that I don't know, the May 2024, April
Yes.
2024.
Yeah, April 30th, 2024.
April
is-
30th,
30th.
2024.
And then after that, it'll go back to 12 every 2 years, basically.
Correct. Correct.
was it 12 every 2 years or 6 every 2 years?
12 live every 2 years.
It was
You got- you
6
got-
annually.
Yeah, 6 annually, correct? I believe it is.
That's what I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay,
We may have to verify that one. I think
Okay.
for now,
I-
We'll just
let's just do the 6 for now.
yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I mean, we're halfway through the cycle.
So Phil seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I don't think we have any discussion, so. Jason, I hope we gave you enough.
Yeah, we'll go through these minutes and through this recording, write up the minutes. And then, obviously you guys will review the minutes at the next meeting to make sure we got them right.
Okay. So that goes to 4D, and this goes to status of public member board appointments, and this is old business. So we feel like we have at least one, if not more, candidates just waiting to be told that they're on the Board of Landscape Architects by the governor's office. So anything we can do to sort of push that along, I think only helps the board out.
I know of at least one candidate, licensed landscape architect, who would like to apply. I don't know whether.
So we're not on that one yet.
Okay.
So we're still on the public member, and I know Phil has, I hope he's still interested.
I think
Because,
so. Yeah,
yeah, and this has been going on for, God, over a year, I think. He's been just waiting
think
to
it's
hear, but
I think it's 2 years.
could be,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 years.
could be
Yeah.
just waiting to hear. So that's the public member, and then jumping onto new business, sort of, is
Apologies.
we now have a vacancy for a professional LA member due to Ann Penniman's retirement, and we want to make sure we fill that one as soon as possible as well. And I think that was Dom's question. Where do they submit these applications to? And it's to the governor's office. I know we had put something together when Phil had some interest for the public member on where he submits his letter to. So we do have that.
Phil, if you have that, I apologize. Just send it to me again. You might have sent it to my Gmail or my other. I can't find it because I know there's at least I'm probably gonna say 1 or 2 people that may be interested in the license member position.
So Jason, do you have the names again? I know we got a bunch of names floating around, but who that application goes to, because I'm sure I have the contact information. I can just send it out.
I have to find a specific name. It is the governor's office, but I do have somewhere a specific name that it can be
I
sent
just-
to.
I have the old name, I believe, who has already retired or left the office.
Yeah, there have been a number of changes in that office. So let me reconfirm with Leslie.
Okay. But yeah, just the stress that we feel it's very important as this board that we fill our vacancies, and we know we have people it's just getting stuck somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want that noted in the minutes that we know there are people willing to be on this board and it's being stuck somewhere in the, I hate to use it, in the bureaucracy at this point. I want to back up for a second, and I don't know if it goes under old business or new business. I apologize, Mark, but under the old minutes, I had a comment or concern, and it has to do with the DCP legal department and my request for a review. Can I get that added either to the new business or the old business?
It wasn't listed before, correct?
Correct, because it came under comments and concerns of any person present. I'd like it, formally as business at this point that I penned an email. I'd like a review by legal of our regulation versus the law or the statute versus whatever it is that I'd written. I kind of been asking for this for a while, and it's a little frustrating because we are I'm going to stop approving candidates personally that do not meet the exact criteria of our law. And you guys can vote them in, but I'm going to stop. I'm going to just blanketly stop approving candidates that come before this board until I get that review.
Tommy, do you want to forward that email to me, and I'll make sure it gets where it needs to go, and we get on the next, we can certainly add it to the next meeting agenda.
Mark, I had sent that to you. Did I not? I can't remember.
I don't know, Dom. I know we've talked about it, and you may have sent it, but I don't. So what Dom's requesting is that formal review of the statute versus regulation.
Yeah, I sent it on January 11th. I'll forward it to everybody on this call.
And you have Jason Cohn's.
I think I do. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
just sent me
he had
something.
sent out this invite, I believe. So
Yeah, it's right here. I'm going between email addresses right now. I apologize.
so that'll show up as old business in our next meeting minutes, but maybe we'll have some information before then. I'm hoping to take care of some of this old business. I'd love to get up to Yukon before the end of this year, and I know we got to coordinate.
I'd like to go too. I think all three of us probably would enjoy.
I think we should. I think we should. Okay. As far as new business, we're unable to review any new applications. Thankfully, we were able to review Mary's. But I don't know the process besides just pushing the other ones forward and to our next meeting, if there are any. Because not being able to interview or hear what the background or what their qualifications are, I don't think we can act as a board. Which is unfortunate. I'm sure there are potentially some commercial applications which we don't act on. They just get pushed through. So I believe that can continue on the way it always has with DCP approving those. And that the same goes for reciprocity applications for landscape architecture. I believe DCP just approves those.
But they will be noted in the meeting minutes.
Right.
So we can review them.
Correct. So Jason, that request is whatever administrative approvals DCP does, can we at least get them in our meeting minutes for review next time?
Sure.
And then if there are any applications that people had submitted for our review, just so we know who's been waiting that extra 2 or 3 months, it'd be nice to know in our meeting minutes.
I just sent that email. If you guys could verify that you got it.
Received.
Jason,
Yep,
did you get it?
I did.
Phil, you got it as well?
Oh, you were under comments last in our meeting minutes, Dom.
Yeah, I just want to move to business, so it's being
Yep.
addressed.
Yep.
I got it, Don.
Thank you.
Okay, correspondence. Do we have any other correspondence? I guess that question would be to Jason.
None that I'm aware of.
Okay. I guess that's not saying that there is any or isn't any, but none that you're aware of. I got it. And we're going to move Dom's comment into actual business agenda. And then, I don't know, does anybody else have any other comments? Phil, Dom?
Big thing is, how do we get out to Yukon? Because that's probably our longest lead item on there right now.
Is the contact information the same, Phil, out there?
As far as I know,
Yeah, it's on me. I said I would just do it because I was sick of bouncing it around, so. I will CC you guys on any email that I send.
This is a good time to go out there. They got to be getting ready for like portfolio review or something. So
Right.
they should be doing it now. We can go up and start talking about licensure.
Yep.
You know, blanket comment, meet with juniors and seniors, upper class, and anybody else who wishes to attend.
Mm-hmm. Phil, are you still adjunct up there?
I am, but I'm not teaching this semester.
Gotcha. Okay. Just so I know. Okay. Thanks, board members, for sort of dealing with this one. Wasn't perfect. I do think that we're going to get back on track. Let's hope we have a new professional LA member and 1, 2, 3 public members moving forward. You know, Jason, the goal would be to try and push these things through. So in our May meeting, we have some new members.
Yep. Under
Yeah,
comments, I'm working with advocacy anyway on like a 1-page document that says, would you like to be on board? Here's the information. We're even going to come up with a quasi template of the letter, so when you send the letter and the resume over, and then we alert I'm taking off my board hat or commissioner hat for a second. And that way, if there's somebody who's interested, and then we're going to come up with a clearinghouse of just, you know, names. That way, if we have vacancies in the future, there's a couple of names of people who want to move into the positions.
Yeah, we already talked about having that sort of bullpen.
No, it's yeah. So if you can
I
get
think we have the interest. That's
totally. We totally
have
do.
the interest.
And then some parameters, you know, like we had some issues with our one person that came through as a lay person. But I told them, let's push through some other ones and let's get it full.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome to have more people on the board. So.
Okay, so I think we can adjourn this meeting at 10:09. And thank you guys again. Jason, thanks for setting it up. I think good news, the Zoom seems to work fine. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. But as far as working forward and trying to get a board package before the meeting, usually we got it. It wasn't 2-3 weeks before. It was like a week before. It just sort of helps be prepared for the meeting and make it go as efficient as possible.
Yeah, and if we have one that gets, you know, between that and the board, we address that one at the meeting. That way we're not holding anybody up to their path to licensure.
Correct. So with that, I think we are good for today.
Correct.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Guys. Nice seeing everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr.